something has survived. Why? Welcome to my review of the second Jurassic Park film, The Lost World Jurassic Park. Yeah. So, after the fantabulous, unexpected success of the first movie, Steven Spielberg thought, I'm going to make a sequel. So, 4 years later we get The Lost World Jurassic Park, which has a very different feel to it. So yeah, basically, the story, such as there is one, is that Dr. Ian Malcolm, played by Jeff Goldblum, is summoned by John Hammond, played by Richard Attenborough, and about some kind of other island that has dinosaurs on it, and he wants him to go and do some expedition or exploratory kind of research on there. Kind of continuing what he wanted to do in the first film. And he finds out that his girlfriend's there, and he plans to rescue her, but she actually doesn't need rescuing. She's just there to observe and report, so to speak. And then it turns into basically another rampage where the dinosaurs are let loose and basically wreak havoc among, the film. Yeah, so The Lost World Jurassic Park is the second one. Obviously, it had quite big shoes to fill. I mean, the first movie was such a success. It was so good, and it was so loved by everyone. And honestly, I can say, this one, I was really disappointed. The Lost World to me just feels. It's not all completely bad, but I think it's absolutely rubbish. I watched it just now. I think the problem with this film is that it doesn't even necessarily try. It feels a bit too dark, and it feels a bit too depressing. It's like every sequel does, they have to go dark. And this ultimately feels dark in a way that's very dull. This film is just badly paced. There is no word about it. The pacing is terrible. It moves really slowly. It moves very slowly, and it is far too long for its own good. So yeah. Spielberg's direction, I think, is a bit confused here. I feel like, in one way, he's trying to just kind of rehash what he's doing in the first one, but he doesn't quite know where he's taking this one, I think. I think Spielberg's direction is not bad, necessarily. Not necessarily bad, because there are some really good scenes, but it's a bit confused. I don't think this film quite knows the direction it's heading in, and also the script. The script for me is a bit disappointing. I think it lacks, it really lacks the intrigue and the insight of the first film, and it fails to really make you care about any of the characters in this film. I mean, despite the fact that you've got Jeff Goldblum coming back, who, he's pretty good, I guess. The actors are good, they try their best. You've got Jeff Goldblum. He's not quite as good as he is in the first one, but, he's playing a different, his version of the character in this film is a little bit different, because Ian Malcolm in this one, he's a bit more protective and he's a bit more serious. He's not as much of a, cocky narcissist. He's not as much of a cocky git as he was in the first one. And, we're introduced to his daughter. I never really got the point of her. Like the kids in the first film, she's just pointless. His daughter adds nothing to the movie. She's just along for the ride. Again, so the younger audience can have somebody to relate to. It's like, well, you're just rehashing what you did in the first one. Just stop. I mean, the problem with this movie, because the movie's so dull, because it's so long, and because it drags itself along, you don't feel that there's any suspense. I felt bored. I was starting to get bored. And, that was really bothering me, because I thought the first movie, yes, it took its time, but it had some intrigue, it had some insight, because this was something incredible. You'd seen this park where you wanted to know how they brought the dinosaurs back. In this, there's no explanation as to why the dinosaurs are on this island. It's a different island, but, I know it's another kind of site where they're doing their research, but surely after what happened in the first film, you'd want to exterminate the other dinosaurs. I mean, there's no explanation as to why they're there. There are some good action sequences. There's some intense moments, like when certain people die and certain dinosaurs, like there's certain dinosaur thrills. The thrills are good. When they hit, but not all of them hit as well as they should. They're well choreographed. Like the action's well done. It's well done. The opening scene's good. Like on the island, I quite like that. It's quite intense. The music by John Williams is good. Not quite as good as the first one, but still good. Yeah, this movie's a bit. It's just dull. There's no other way to say it. It is just dull, and I got bored throughout this film. It dragged itself along. Didn't care about any of the characters. Julianne Moore's good, but I didn't care about her character. You don't really understand her motivations. And why is Richard Attenborough's character so set on the dinosaurs? He's so set on this being happening. And, the plot, as far as the plot's concerned, I think it's a bit of a mess, to be honest. I mean, it all gets a bit convoluted and it all gets a bit lost, and it tries to do too much, and some of the characters just kind of feel a bit, wasted. I mean, for one thing, why would you cast Vince Vaughn? Vince Vaughn? Don't try and make this into a comedy. I mean, Vince Vaughn, is known for being in all these comedies, and, to me, Vince Vaughn, in a film like this, just seems like a really bizarre casting choice. I thought Vince Vaughn in this movie was really out of place. I didn't understand why they cast him in the role that he was in. He doesn't really do anything. I mean, they don't develop his character. He's just there. He's just there along for the ride. There are so many characters that are just there along for the ride. Pete Poslethwaite's character, I mean, the guy's a great actor, but he was just there along for the ride. Why, can't we, whatever happened to, the dedication that we had in the first film, where, you actually developed all the characters. They all had a reason for being on the island, for John Hammond wanting to show them his park, that each character had their views and opinions about the park, and they developed each of the characters, even, well, apart from the kids, but, this movie, I mean, the visual look of it, cinematography is fine. I mean, it's, there are some good animatronic work with the dinosaurs, and there's some good CGI for the time, but ultimately, The Lost World just feels like a really boring film. It's a drag of a film. It just goes on, and it doesn't really go anywhere. It goes from point A to point A. It doesn't really do anything. And the ending, oh god, the ending's just stupid. When they bring the dinosaur to the city, and there's that moment when the little kid says, "Mommy, there's a dinosaur in the garden." Oh, come on. I thought, Spielberg, I thought we were better than this. I thought you were better than this. I thought you understood, how to make genuine tension. There's no tension in this film. I didn't feel at all, like on the edge of my seat. I felt like, when's this movie going to end? This movie is about 2 hours, 10 minutes long. It is way too long. It just drags itself along, and it ends up going nowhere. And ultimately, it's what it says in the title. It's lost. This movie is completely lost. It's a bit of a mess. Doesn't quite know where it's going. Acting is good, and the set pieces and CGI are all quite good. Visually, it looks quite nice to look at. The script is all right, but it's not really that good. It's, like I said, it lacks the insight and the intelligence of the first film, and the plot to me just seems a bit stupid, and confused. The plot really doesn't know where it's going. Overall, it's just a bit unnecessary, really. I mean, it's a really bad sequel. It's not like I could, if I had to watch it, I'd watch it, but I wouldn't make a point of watching it again. For me, the biggest problem is it feels like it's squandering all of the dedication and all of the heart and all of the talent that went into making the first film. This is a shamble. this is a complete shamble, and it shouldn't really have been made, and, you know, it's a mess. It's a bit of a mess, and I don't like it. It's bad. Music is, well, yeah, I said the music's already quite good, but so many characters, too many that it knows how to deal with. Overall, it's just a bit messy. Nothing else to say. Jeff Goldblum's, well, Malcolm's daughter adds nothing into the film. You know, the film is just a big, great nothing. It's Spielberg's direction. There's some good camera work, I guess. There's some really good camera work, but ultimately, Jurassic Park 2, or The Lost World, Jurassic Park, is not very good. With that in mind, I'm probably going to give this one, I'd give it a 4 out of 10. I mean, because I like some of the action scenes and the music, and it visually looks quite nice to look at, and some of the acting is quite good, but it's just complete. It's a completely ill-conceived film. It's a bit of a mess. It really doesn't know where it's going. I think the third one might actually be better than this, but well, I'll have to wait and see when I watch the third one. Overall, a really big step down, hugely disappointing. I have no plans to watch it again, and I would not recommend this film to anyone. Even if you're a die-hard Jurassic Park fan, I wouldn't recommend this to you. But, hey-ho, life moves on. It's not like the worst film I've ever seen, but it's not one of the best sequels out there. I can safely say that much. So yeah, that's my review of The Lost World Jurassic Park. What do you think? Put your comments down below, let me know. And as always, thank you for watching. Tune in next time when I review Jurassic Park 3. And as always, I'm Mr. Thomas11. See ya.